What's up guys, John here and welcome to Baltimore Retro Gaming. And in today's episode, we're going to look at some of the video games I picked up in October of 2018. So yeah, it's a pickups video. It's not all of the games I picked up last month because I couldn't think of everything as I was trying to pull all the games together for this video, but I'd say it's a good 60 or 70% of them. And it's so weird, guys, because every month I think, like, I do not have enough games for a pickups video. I might only picked up a couple of games, but when I look at the stack of games I got, it's pretty decent. So anyways, guys, let's check it out. Okay, guys, so let's jump right into it. The first game, and it's actually the only game that I bought online because I got it for a really good deal, and that game is Sonic Wings 2 on the Neo Geo CD. This is an amazing classical shooter. If you like traditional shooters, kind of like Strikers 1945, then you should love Sonic Wings 3. Great sprite work, great soundtrack. Actually, Sonic Wings 3 has a drum and bass soundtrack. I love jungle and drum and bass, so I'm a huge fan of that. These games are really uncommon to find in the wild or, local game stores. So I have found them in the past, and when I do, I grab them up. They're always cheap as hell, but they're great. A lot of them are MVS and AES ports. Fantastic games. I love the Neo Geo CD, and it sucks that it didn't get the love that it deserved, at least out here in the US. But yeah, you see Sonic Wings 2 for a good deal online or in a store if you happen to find one. Definitely pick it up. Sonic Wings 2. Okay, so the next game is another traditional shooter. It's actually for the Dreamcast. Now, this game started to kind of break into that threshold of like the bullet hail shooters where like the whole screen is, packed full of bullets. And this is a Capcom shooter, and it's really excellent, and I got it for a good deal. And that game is Giga Wing. Now, I've had Giga Wing 2 for quite some time, and I had been searching for Giga Wing, for quite a while. I mean, I could have bought it for $100 at a game store dozens of times. I could have bought it online for $100 or maybe slightly cheaper. But I got this one like stupid cheap, and it's complete, and it's got one small crack in the case, but I don't care. But it is pretty excellent. Anyway, Giga Wing, guys, you see it for a good deal, definitely pick it up. Okay, so this next game is also a Dreamcast game. It's also a Dreamcast shooter, and it's also pretty excellent. And I got it for a good deal because the manual has water damage, so whatever. Doesn't affect the gameplay. And that game is Gunbirs 2. Now, like I said, I got this game stupid cheap because it has a water damage manual. Maybe one day I will replace the manual, but the disc is in perfect condition, plays great. The back cover art is in great condition. Somehow they got water up in that manual, so you can't really pull the pages apart. But technically it is complete, but it doesn't really matter that the water's got water damage manual because the gameplay is good, and I don't play shooters to read the manual anyway. But anyways, guys, you find Gunbirs 2, definitely pick it up. And as a matter of fact, a friend of mine has this at his local one of my local retro game stores. I could probably get it for a pretty good deal. So if any of you guys are looking for a copy of Gunbirs, hit me up on Twitter or Instagram, and I'll see if I can get it for you if you're really looking for it. I'm not going to say I can get it for you super cheap, but I can probably get you a pretty good deal on it. So yeah, Gunbirs 2, definitely check it out. Okay, so next, guys, we're going to jump right into some of the PlayStation stuff I've picked up. And I will say, as I'm showing these games, they're PlayStation 1, PlayStation 3, and PlayStation 4 games. There's one game that I thought to grab. I didn't grab it this morning, and that game is Rhapsody: A Musical Adventure. It's a classic PlayStation 1 RPG. It actually was ported to the DS, several years later, but I got that game for $20. It's complete. It's a pretty awesome RPG, but I don't have it here to show you, but it's called Rhapsody. Anyways, guys, so the first game that I picked up, and I actually got this less than $20, it just still has the price tag on it, that is Dark Rose Valkyrie. I just bought this game because it was really cheap. It's an RPG. I played it for about 15 minutes, but, I added this to my backlog of games. As I did a lot of the games I'm going to show you for the PlayStation, when I can get these RPGs really cheap, I grab them. But yeah, Dark Rose Valkyrie, I think I paid $15 for it, but I guess if you see it, I heard it's decent. Honestly, I haven't played it yet, but yeah, I guess pick it up if you see it. Another game is an NIS America game that I heard was pretty good, and that is Nocturnal Doctrine. Again, a game I haven't played at all, but I think I paid $5 for this game at a yard sale. So, I guess you see this game cheap. Again, I haven't played it yet, but see it cheap, I guess pick it up. This game I started playing, and I'm going to finish it, and it's a very Japanese game. You can tell when you play it, but it's really good. at least what I played of it so far, and that is Summon Night 6. I don't think we got all the games in the series released out here in the US, but we did get Summon Night 6 on the PS4, and I think this was probably also released on the Vita. Not 100% sure about that. Okay, this next game I actually bought recently. I did pay $20 for it, and it came with a bunch of trading cards, and some people on YouTube were asking me about it. I guess that's Valthirian Arc for the PlayStation 4. This game plays, and I played a little bit of this game, it plays kind of like Secret of Mana, like the new Secret of Mana they released on the PS4, but it has a leveling system where you level up, classmates that are in your school that you're trying to get to graduate, so you're leveling up characters. I guess kind of similar to the way you would level up your Onheriar and Valkyrie profile, but just in a different way. That might be a bad way of describing it, but yeah. This game did come with some art cards, so that's pretty cool, and they pack in extra stuff like that. But yeah, it was brand new, $20 at GameStop. I couldn't pass it up. These RPGs sometimes you got to buy them when they're cheap, or you can't get them at all. You know what I mean? Okay, so PlayStation 2 now. Mostly these are fighters. There's one RPG in here. So I'll just go through these real quick. I got Guilty Gear X and Guilty Gear X2. I think I paid $10 for the pair. They're both complete. They both have their manuals, and these are really good 2D fighting games. Guys, if you like real combo-heavy fighting games and like that real, like that 80s like heavy metal with the crazy guitar riffs and stuff, these games have awesome gameplay, excellent sprite work, and an awesome soundtrack. So you see a Guilty Gear game on any platform, definitely pick it up. They're awesome games. And this next game is an SNK Playmore game that I picked up super cheap, and that is it's Fatal Fury Battle Archives Volume 2. It's like a $5 game or whatever, but it's got Fatal Fury, Real Bout Fatal Fury Special, and there's a third here. They're right here on the back of the game. But guys, I always find these SNK Playmore games on the PlayStation 2 dirt cheap, and they're just fun. MVS, AES ports a lot of the time. I have that Tekken 2 arcade stick for my PlayStation 2, so it makes playing these SNK Playmore games awesome. I got a Neo Geo, but I don't have Neo Geo money, so this is the next best thing. You got a PS2 arcade stick, you can enjoy not all of, but most of the awesome MVS and AES Neo Geo games that came out on an HD TV, and it's loads of fun. And again, guys, these games are super cheap. Okay, so this next game I bought in a lot of games, and I paid like $40 for this lot. And this game is really good. I started playing it. I'm not finished with it yet, but I'm telling you, this is an excellent RPG on the PlayStation 2, and it's a must-own on the system, and that is Suikoden V. Just everything about this game, the way the game plays, the battle system, the way the characters interact in this game is absolutely hilarious. So yeah, this can get pricey. This is like a $50 PlayStation 2 game, but guys, you see this for a deal. Even if you don't like Suikoden or you don't like RPGs, somebody that is going to want this game. So you see Suikoden V for a deal, definitely pick it up. This is an awesome game. And this last game, it was a disc-only game. I actually made my own cover art for it. It's a PlayStation 1 game. It's a Working Designs game. It's very rare, very hard to find, and I found it disc only. And for me, for this game, as hard as it is to find, I was completely okay with that. I paid $20 for this disc only copy of this game, and that game is Elemental Gearbolt. Now, I'll show you. I saved the little Babbage's paper sleeve that it came in. Yeah, this game. This is an expensive PS1 game. If you can find it online, they go for sometimes 100, a lot of times 150 complete. This is a very rare Working Designs rail shooter. Now, you're supposed to use a light gun with this game. Now, I don't have a CRT television, so I have to use you can play this game with a controller. The controls, I'm sure, are not as good as having a light gun. So one of my goals in the future is to find a friend that has a CRT television and hopefully has a PlayStation 3 or a PlayStation 1 or a PlayStation 2 or whatever we can use a light gun with and actually play this game the way it is supposed to be played. So hopefully I can find somebody that I can play this game at their house. But yeah, I really want to experience this game with a light gun. So yeah, Elemental Gearbolt. You see this game anywhere, I don't care if it's disc only, you buy it. It's definitely worth the money. Although I will say that, what I've played of this game with the controller, it's really difficult. But it's This game's like an RPG rail shooter, as weird as that sounds. But yeah, I really want to play this game with a Lycon though, guys. Elemental Gearbolt. Definitely check it out if you can find it. Okay, guys, so what I've been waiting to show you, and this is the meat and potatoes of everything that I've picked up in October of 2018. And yes, if you watch my channel, I'm talking about the SEGA Genesis. Now, I just want to say that, you know, I love ShootEmUps, and the SEGA Genesis is an excellent platform that has many, many awesome ShootEmUps. And that's great because I love the Genesis, I love ShootEmUps, and it just so happens that in my area, you know, where I live, in the surrounding area, the area is plentiful with SEGA Genesis games, so there are a few that I'm looking for that I can't find, you know, one being Musha. You know, I really want a copy of Musha, so if anyone has an extra copy or one they're trying to sell or trade, definitely hit me up so we can work something out. But with that being said, guys, a lot of the games I'm going to show you I can get extra copies of. There's plenty of Genesis games in my area. They're cheap, they're plentiful. Most of the time they are cart only, so I do print cover art for a lot of these games because when I pick them up cart only, I get them for just so cheap, you know. So I'm not going to let that deter me from experiencing an awesome game. But let's start off with some like platformers and run and gun shooters on the system. Okay, so the first game, and don't pay attention to some of these price tags on these games because I didn't pay anywhere near what the price tags say. Like this one says $18.99. I think I paid $11 for this game. I bought it recently, and that game is Strider. You know, if you don't know about this game, you know, it's a card-only game. I got it dumb cheap, but this is a really good like action platformer on the Genesis. So you see this game, it is a classic. You're going to want to pick it up. And another game I got card-only is a game I did a video on the other day. And again, and nobody hit me up. You know, if one of you guys wants this game, you know, let me know. I told you I'd send it to you. And that game is Alien Soldier on the SEGA Genesis. This is the last video I did, so if you want to know more about this game, you're going to have to watch the video. But it's a good game. You should definitely check it out. Okay, so the next game is one that I printed cover art for. As you can see, it's card only. That game is Contra Hardcore. Again, I do believe I did a video on this game. I'm pretty sure maybe a few weeks ago. Excellent run and gun shooter. If you're fans of run and gun shooters or of the Contra series, this is one you're going to want to play. I'm telling you. Definitely check it out. And it's cheap, card only. It's like, you know, you could probably get it for like 30 bucks. Okay, this next game is a Game Arts game. And what that tells me is the same people that worked on the Lunar series and that worked on the Grandia series worked on this game. And it's pretty good. And that game is Alisia Dragoon. You know, I got this game pretty cheap. Again, this game's card only, so I printed cover art, but it looks fine. Although I do think this game had the same people that, like I said, worked on Lunar and worked on Grandia. I would say that this game has more in common with a game like Popful Mail, which is a platforming RPG. So this game has more in common with that. But this is kind of like a RPG-ish run and gun shooter. It's really fun, but yeah, you see it, pick it up if you can find it for a deal, and that is Alisia Dragoon on the SEGA Genesis. Okay, next game is not that good, but it is complete with the manual, and if one of you guys wants this game, I'll hook you up with it. I'll sell it pretty cheap, and that is Doublr Dragon 3. I'm going to do a video on this game because it's not that good. Like, the hit detection in this game is terrible. Like, you have to take a hit, and then you're allowed to hit your opponent. It's like, I don't understand the hit detection in this game. And the cover art does this game no justice. It's like they didn't even take this game seriously. But, hey, it's got the manual. It's complete. But any of you guys want this game, you know, hit me up. We'll work something out. And that is Doublr Dragon 3, the arcade game on the SEGA Genesis. Don't check that one out. Okay, this next game you can find. It's like a $10 game, and it's pretty good. It's a run and gun platformer kind of game. I thought it was a shoot 'em up. I was sadly mistaken, but it is interesting. It's got very interesting game mechanics, and that game is Ranger X. This game has weird game mechanics the same way that Alien Soldier does, and I am going to do a video on this game in the future because it's a really fun shooting platformer game, and the price on it's cheap. It's one of those games you would think would be dumb expensive, like hundreds of dollars, but it's not. It's cheap. I guess people don't know about it. So I am going to be doing a video on Ranger X, and again, you know, this is a fun game. I'm going to do a video on it in the future. You see it for a couple of dollars, definitely pick it up. And this next game is a run and gun shooter that a lot of people know about. It is excellent, and it was made by Treasure. If that didn't give it away, the game I'm talking about is Gunstar Heroes. Now, the same people that worked on Alien Soldier worked on Gunstar Heroes. I did find this card only for $20, printed cover art. It is excellent, and I am going to be doing a video review on this game in the future. So Gunstar Heroes, you see it, definitely check it out. Now, what I've been waiting to show you guys, the shooters that I've got on the SEGA Genesis, and it's quite a few, and this is just a small fraction of the awesome shooters on the system. So, first game, I didn't print cover art for this. I actually had to solder the board on this to get the game to work. I'm probably going to do a video on that in the future. And I did pay $5 for this game, and that is Twin Cobra. On the SEGA Genesis, it's like a, you know, like your sprite is like pretty much a helicopter, and I played it for a while, and it is pretty fun. It's like an early Genesis shooter. And it didn't work, and this one actually has one of those like big fat boards. It's not like a regular small Genesis board, but I was able to fix it with the soldering iron, and I have like no soldering skills, so I'll probably do some videos of me soldering and fixing games in the future. But yeah, Twin Cobra, you see it, it's a $5 game. There's no reason why you shouldn't own it. It's a pretty good shooter. Okay, this next game was another, I think I paid $5 for this game card only. I printed cover art for it, and that game is Steel Empire. I'm going to do a video on this game in the future if I hadn't already. Have I done a video on Steel Empire yet? I don't think so. Yeah, this game is known for its like real excellent art style and like steampunk scenery, and you know, one of the sprites that you can choose is actually a blimp. So yeah, it's a pretty decent shooter. You know, it's not terribly expensive. It's a pretty cheap game. So you see it, definitely pick it up. That is Steel Empire on the SEGA Genesis. Okay, so this next game, I bought card only again. I printed the Japanese cover art for it, and this game is an absolutely excellent shooter. It's probably one of my top 5 on the system, and that game is Gaiares. You know, a lot of people said this was an R-Type clone back in the day, you know, from like video reviews and I've seen in the, you know, years ago. This game actually has game mechanics that completely separate it from R-Type. There are some similarities, but yeah, this is the Japanese cover art. I think it looks incredible. The North American cover art looks awesome for this game too, but it's like a maybe $40 or $50 game card only, but you see it and you love shooters. This is one that you have to own, and that game is Gaiares. You see it, definitely pick it up. And the cover art for the US version looks awesome. It's completely different. It's like baby blue with all this stuff on the front. So yeah, Gaiares. Okay. All right. Okay, so this next game is, again, another card-only game. It's one of those EA cartridges, so if you're going to print cover art, you're going to have to find an EA case that fits those like big Genesis cartridges. But that game is Battle Squadron, and, you know, nothing special about this game. It's a decent run-of-the-mill shooter on the SEGA Genesis. It's a, you know, $10 game. I think I might have paid $10 for it, which is like full retail on this game, but it's decent. It's worth owning. And if you see it, definitely check it out, and that is Battle Squadron. It is a shooter. You might not know by looking at the cartridge, but if it says Battle Squadron on it, it's a decent shooter, so definitely pick it up. Okay, all right, so now actually Thundet Force 2 I did not get recently, so I'm going to leave that off the list. But I did get Thundet Force 3. I don't know why I brought Thundet Force 2 with me, but Thundet Force 3, so Thundet Force 2 had stages where it wasn't just side-scrolling. There was stages where you can shoot in any direction, and that really turned me off from the Thundet Force series when I first played it. But Thundet Force 3 is a straight side-scrolling shoot-'em-up. It is excellent. It is fabulous. It is around $30. If you see it, definitely pick it up. This is a fabulous, excellent game. I think I did a video on this game too. Actually, I know I did. Thundet Force 3, you see it, definitely pick it up. I also picked up Thundet Force 4. Or, as we had it released over here in the US, Lightning Force. Again, excellent shooter, amazing soundtrack, amazing gameplay, absolutely fabulous. Both of these games, Thundet Force 3 and Thundet Force 4, again, if you're shoot-'em-up fans, both of these are must-owns on the system, I'm telling you. You know, I think this one can get a little bit pricey, but either way, you see any of these games, complete, card only, whatever, pick them up. I'm telling you, they are absolutely incredible. Okay. Okay, so this next game is a repro. I've done a video on it, and it has a lot in common with Space Harrier, so it's kind of like it's not really a shoot 'em up, it kind of is. But anyway, that game is Panorama Cotton. If you've played any of the Cotton games, they are they're shooters. You know, they're traditional shoot 'em ups. This game had a Space Harrier style to it, but it is fun, and this is the game that really pushes the limitations of the SEGA Genesis. So this is a game you're going to want a repro of, because an original Japanese copy is going to cost you $500-600. So, you know, buy a repro of Panorama Cotton. It's definitely worth checking out. And this last game, one's a repro and one is not. And that is the Battle Mania series. So Troubleshooter, I got card only. It is an original cart. It's definitely worth owning. This is probably the best shooter I've ever played on the SEGA Genesis. This is the best shooter I've ever played on the SEGA Genesis thus far. Now, I've played a lot of shooters on the platform. This is the best. This was released in Japan. It was released over here. It's very hard to find. If you can find it cart only, the cart, I'll show you what the cart looks like. Mine's like sun faded. That's what the cart looks like. You know, you see this game, Troubleshooter, you know, buy it. It's probably going to cost you $40-50 card only. It is totally worth it. It is an excellent shooter. It is my pick for the system, okay? That's how serious this game is. You see this game, buy it. Watch my video on it. I got a video review on this game. Buy it. It is worth it. And they did have a sequel only released in Japan, and that is Battle Mania 2. So they released Battle Mania in Japan as Troubleshooter over here in the US, but we never had any Troubleshooter 2, so there's only Battle Mania 2. And this is a game you're going to want a repro of. This is one of those dumb expensive games if you get an original Japanese copy. So it's worth owning a repro of. And this game is kind of a story-heavy shooter. So if you want to read some of the funny story, because it's pretty comical in this game, you're going to want a repro or an English hacked ROM. And that's how you play it on original hardware, is through a repro. So that's it, guys. That's all the SEGA Genesis games I got. Actually, no, it's not. I probably got about 15 or 20 more games at the house, but, like, come on, like, all these shooters on the system, like, seriously? Like, nobody's buying them out here in my area. Like, what the fuck? Like, come on, guys. Like, some of these games are fantastic, so as a matter of fact, I'm glad you're not buying them, because that just means there's more for me. But that also means there's more for you, too, because, guys, again, I'm not talking about Musha, but there are other games I can get for you guys that are kind of rare. Like that Crusader Ascenti, I can get a copy of that. It's going to cost you. Anyone that knows that game knows it's an expensive game, but I can get that. I can get most copies of most of these shooters. I can get repros. You know, if you're one of my regular viewers and you want some Genesis games, you know, hit me up and I'll see what I can do for you. Okay, so guys, that was, I'd say, maybe 60 or 70% of all the games that I picked up in October of 2018. And, you know, when I thought about it, you know, and I said to somebody that was live streaming yesterday, I was like, you know, I'm going to do a pickups video today. And I had told myself I was going to. But, you know, all the while I was thinking, like, God, what games have I even got? Like, you know, I don't even buy games like that like I used to buy them. I'm pretty laid back with buying games. I don't really go hunting for them like I used to or anything like that. But just somehow, through people that I know and store owners that I've gotten really, really cool with, like, I always end up with mounds of games and whatever. Obviously, I focused my attention on the SEGA Genesis last month, and I mean, it shows, man. Look at all the damn Genesis games I got. And I'm serious, guys. If there's some shooters that you want, or, you know, some crazy Genesis games that you can't find anywhere else, I'm telling you, if you're one of my regular viewers, you know, hit me up and let me know what you're looking for, and I'll try to get you a good deal on it. I'm not here to burn anybody or anything like that. I just really love the SEGA Genesis, and I want people to play and appreciate a lot of these games. And again, in my area, they're plentiful. So, you know, I'm serious about that. If you're one of my regular viewers and there's a game you're looking for, you know, let me know, and I'll let you know whether I can get it for you or not. Unless it's Musha, because I can't find a Musha around here. But, you know, anything else, you know, definitely let me know. And guys, I'm not wearing one today, but if you see any of my crazy t-shirts on Twitter or my Facebook group or on Instagram, let me know. They're $25 shipped. And, you know, if there's a game that you want on a shirt, you know, let me know and I'll make it for you. So, and I'll make that shit right. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Remember to like this video. Remember to subscribe to the channel. Until next time, peace out.